Hi, and welcome to a Drafthouse Diary for Thursday, April 4th, 2024, when I and my boy Ian here
Hello!
came out to the Alamo Drafthouse at Littleton's Aspen Grove to see Monkey Man, starring and directed by Dev Patel.
My goodness.
I have been a big Dev Patel fan for a long time. He's shown so much range as an actor. I was really interested to see his directorial debut.
I was excited too. I love this kind of action film, and when people describe this as being similar to John Wick, but with a very different feeling, I was interested, and they were right. This definitely is in that same genre, but it left me feeling very different than a John Wick film or a similar thing would.
Based on the ads, I expected something very John Wick-like, and there were definitely some shots, some action set pieces that were of that sort. But I came out of this thinking this was the Dark Knight of Mumbai.
Yes! Oh my
This
goodness, yes.
was very much like a Batman story. Someone whose rage and drive for revenge from the loss of a parent transforms into something bigger and makes him something bigger than himself. Not, in this case, not a bat, but a personification of Hanuman, the white monkey.
And whoever does the opening videos at the Alamo Drafthouse is very skilled, because the combination of kung fu movies and discussions and backstory of Dev Patel's body of work leading up to this was extremely useful to be able to actually get as much as possible out of this film, because I wouldn't say it leans heavily on any one thing too much, but it is a synthesis of both. It is someone who can understand both the comedic and the serious and the skill in acting overall that he has, using some of the tropes of those kung fu movies to tell something with a bit more coherent a through line and narrative than those classic kung fu movies sometimes had.
Yeah, you could see that his inspiration in directing these action pieces, it wasn't just the most modern and contemporary of action movies, but it also goes back to the Shaw brothers. He mentioned one of the things we got in the pre-show was him talking about the influences on this movie, and they included things like Enter the Dragon, classic kung fu movies.
But it was also a variety of international cinema that had poignant moments of interactions and the human element, and showing the connections between underground societies and the dark side of communities and such through the person lens. And that was a huge part of this too. There's a lot of moments where there's a humanization of both sides, and that makes every hit more powerful. Honestly, Dev Patel's biggest strength across this entire film, I found, was being able to show effort. Every hit he gives and every hit he takes, he shows the effort and force. And there's a concept in wrestling of like no selling, like you get hit and you just don't show it. He is upselling everything.
Yeah.
Everything from the punch he knocked someone out with, to the fact that running down the stairs after getting stabbed 3 times hurt and it's not good. And he sells every single bit of it, which means when he succeeds, you're more amped up because you can feel that took something, that needed something.
He is not a superhero. He is a person who becomes heroic.
Exactly.
And to come back to the Batman idea, yeah, this kind of follows the Batman structure, but if anything, this is an anti-fascist, anti-capitalist Batman. Because the larger forces against which he eventually turns, his need for revenge and his desire to do something for the people around him, he's up against right-wing ultranationalists and the religious opportunists who support them. And there's a lot of commentary about the wealth disparity in his nation.
Yes.
So it's definitely not I'm a billionaire, so why don't I go out and be a superhero kind of thing like you get from Batman. This is somebody who started with very little, had everything he did have taken away, and from there built himself into this hero with some help from really, really interesting and varied supporting cast and supporting characters.
This is a movie that it's definitely got that political message to it. It is not heavy-handed in saying that. It is very, very smooth and uses its cinematography to say that. Its characters don't vocalize that as much as putting audio of our villain stating something while showing juxtaposed video of the conditions this person is creating and the outright denial of the very things they're calling upon. He's calling upon faith, yet it's showing that he is directly using concepts that go against the very faith he was just calling upon. And
Yeah.
it uses the cinematography and in some ways trusts the audience to understand the dissonance in this juxtaposition in order to establish the villainy
Yeah.
and then defeat it from there.
But we never get Dev Patel's character standing up and giving an anti-capitalist, anti-fascist speech.
Mm-hmm.
They just establish through backstory, through interludes of news broadcasts, who these people are. He's still not really interested in the politics, but these are the people who bring about what he is against, and therefore he's against them.
Mm-hmm. If anything, our main character, Bobby, I believe is what we wind up getting to call him.
Bobby is a name that he adopts, but in the credits, he is just Kid. We never actually get a real name for his character.
Yeah. He is not a hero action movie character because he never quips. In fact, the one time that he starts to try to talk at the bad guys, he starts to try to do that at all, is when the lights go red on him the next time he does something, and he actually gets really caught off guard and almost defeated the next thing.
Yeah.
The moment he tries to quip like an action hero is when hubris decides to tell him no. And that right there also establishes he is not that kind of hero. He is I'm here, I am tasked with fixing this. I am a force from the outside sent to fix this, and it's a little bit don't stray from that because you lose sight of the why, and the why is what's giving you the strength to do it.
And again, it goes back to he is human, and this is a hard job.
Yes.
He's not, not breaking a sweat, no problem being out of breath, so he doesn't have any breath left to quip.
Exactly.
This is a hard job. I do have to break, in terms of the way the movie is made and how satisfied I was with it, I have to break it up into two parts. The first half, I was losing my patience with that because it took them a long time to get to places that seemed like they were obvious. And the action in the first half I thought was muddled. It wasn't blocked and crafted very well. Occasionally you got this beautiful shot, perfectly carved, but a lot of it was just a jumble. And eventually it just turned into how much punishment can this person's body take. The second half, the cinematography was better. The action direction, the action blocking and editing was so much better. It's rare that I see a movie that has such differences in how effectively these kinds of things like action scenes were done from one part to the other. But it was, and maybe there's some point being made about how he was focused in the second half and unfocused in the first. But as an audience member, it tried my patience.
I can completely understand. I almost feel like, for me, that's part of what made this work. The first half feels a little unfocused because it's setting up all the tropes you expect to be there. It sets up a colorful sidekick in some ways. It sets up a person on the inside that might be threatened and needs saving. It sets up an environment for him to train. It sets up a cleverness and a tactical, more almost heist filmy setup at first. It does all these pieces that feel a little bit more traditional to the genre at this point and pull from a lot of these different movies he was
Okay.
discussing as influences. And when that all goes sideways, he has an entire training montage of stripping away the things that were distracting him and becoming focused and able to do the job. And it still shows those other pieces, those dangling plot threads, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of closes them by saying they don't impact them. It sets up an entire board of pieces and then takes a rook and slides it right to the back row for checkmate and ignores the rest of the board. And the fact that none of that actually mattered kind of makes the force of that last moment a little stronger for me.
And this does have one of the best musical training montages for a hero
Yes.
and a fighter that I've seen in a long time. So I'm glad we saw this.
Yes.
Ultimately, I walked out satisfied. I wasn't too sure after the first hour or so.
Yeah.
Other parts of our trip to the Alamo. We talked a little bit about the pre-show already. It had some Indian movie and TV adaptations of the story of Hanuman. Everything from it's almost kind of a respectful mythological take on the white monkey god to, what was it? The white monkey as Ultraman is how you described
Yes.
it. Yeah, the giant white monkey versus gangsters.
Which actually fit really well with
It was
this.
fun. Also, a bunch of Shaw Brothers and other kung fu movie clips and trailers. We got some commercials from India for products and things that showed up in the movie.
I gotta pause on that. One moment. Yes, you. I know. You're the person who edits those videos for the Alamo. You watch this channel. I know you. You watch this. How? How do you find one scene, one little moment in each of these films, and somehow find like 7 commercials for that product? Or you find like 5 references and things no one else has seen. What is your secret? Because they showed that thing once in the start, and you've got it as half this pre-roll, and it worked.
It worked very well.
It makes me mad.
It really did work well. We did get some dinner. I tried the Big Kahuna burger, which is part of their 1994 time capsule menu. It was essentially a Hawaiian burger, a burger with teriyaki glazed pineapple and Swiss cheese and bacon. Once again, they had a lot on there, but it didn't seem overdone. So I enjoyed it. I liked it much better than that Hellfire burger. And what did you have, Ian?
I had my favorite, which is their buffalo cauliflower bites. Although this time, I actually swapped out the fries for their side salad, which was excellent, but a little difficult to eat in the dark. This is another one of those things where it's got some big, nice croutons, some big variety of vegetables in there. I enjoyed the lime and jalapeno vinaigrette I got, which was much creamier than I expected. It was a very well emulsified vinaigrette. But it's not a very stabbable salad, and it's not a very scoopable salad. And so I was having to use their little menu light sometimes to get a nice forkful and eat. It's one of those good food, tough environment moments. But
yeah, I got the side Caesar salad instead of the fries. It's great to have that as an option, lightens things up.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the Caesar might be a little bit easier to eat than some of their other salads.
And always their coffee is actually a very nice option, especially later into a film when you're wanting a bit of dessert. Order a coffee, they bring it to you in the hot thermos. And
was the coffee good?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
I've had some bad experiences with coffee, especially at this location. Seems like they're getting their coffee game sorted out, so I'm glad to hear that was good. And the theater was good. The staff friendly as always. Unlike some of the other visits we've had recently, they let us in on time, so we didn't miss a bunch of the pre-show. In general, interesting movie and a good time at the Alamo.
Very good.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this Drafthouse Diary. If you did, please click that like button, and if you want more of these, click subscribe. Most important, thank you for being with us. I'll be back soon with more, and in the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits. You know, I can punch in. You don't have to assault the camera.
Oh, okay.